Hello, from this video, let me introduce the Dragon Breath Ribbon tool in Autodesk Maya. It utilizes the animation frame, tricks and inertia algorithm to simulate the physical accessories like hair or cloth on the character. In game style, I'll show you how to achieve that. Let's load the character and open this interface. You might notice the character already have a basic animation. We'll use her to show the features to you. And as for this interface, its main layout is like this. At the top we have a set editor. We can create several sets, depending on how many bone chain our character needs. For example, here is the braid on the right, and the braid on the left. We can quickly add a set like this. Later, we can easily simulate them simultaneously. If we save this character, we can open it as a reference. The set's also available. It makes production easier. Regarding simulation, please notice there are some randomness parameters, like the randomness of the softness, the randomness of the self-breathing here. They will be useful only when simulating the multiple joints in sets. Well, we can simulate the selected joint chain directly, but it will ignore the randomness parameters. Because the randomness only works for multiple joint chains in the sets editor. And below that, this section here controls the parameters of the entire frame delay effect. Calculating our general effect is based on the calculation of frame delay to simulate the dynamics result. This curve editor controls the softness. Usually when we flatten it, the softness is consistent throughout. But if I pull it down a little bit like this part here is getting smaller. So when you simulate it, the root area will be stiffer, and the tip area will be softer. We will explain this in detail in the case study later. And this is the loop frame. Smoothness and the randomness of smoothness. This randomness also only work for the multiple bone chains in sets editor. And inertia. And here it's the self-breathing parameters. The breathing effect is actually a sine function added on top of simulation result. It automatically creates a floating effect. This is the amplitude. Specially, we define this amplitude as a ratio value. Suppose we set its value to absolute units. For different character sizes, you may have to make a few attempts to set up this parameter. But now we calculate it based on its percentage of length. For example, this length here, we now use 2% of length as the amplitude to affect joint chain. And of course we can make adjustments. This is his frequency. When the frequency is higher, the frequency at which peaks and valleys appear will be higher. When it's lower, it will be slower. This is the speed of the offset. Is the floating speed. And there's an angle. For example, the default is floating vertically, right? If we want it to float horizontally, we can adjust the angle accordingly. These are some random values. We just mentioned them above, and let me skip right now. Okay, there are some parameters of dynamics, like gravity, and some collide primitives, including the capsule, sphere, and plane. Below is the start time, end time. We can select a time range, and performing a simulation. This button is used to start simulate the selected joint chain. We select from top to bottom, in order of selection. Don't select in reverse order. And button is to simulate based on set. So this is entire UI for the Dragon Breath Ribbon. Something like this. In the next video we will discuss the usage of each parameter in detail. Thank you.